Hi, it's Pastor Andy, and another just a little short update today. I hope short. Um, one of the things that has happened is during this time is that there are many more people that are uh, aware of different elements of faith. Now, I'm not saying that more people are turning to faith, although I think that may happen. I think that is a strong possibility. But as we think about this, one of the things that we are seeing, statistically seen, is that more people are praying, more people are reading their Bible. In fact, as I mentioned last week, in one of the videos, Lifeway has seen 10,000 new accounts over a week period set up. That's just one vendor. And they were almost out of Bibles. The stock of Bibles was being depleted heavily. Heavily. Why? Because people presumably are going to read the Bible more. Now, the question will be for all of us during this time is what is the long term impact? Many people are finding more time to spend doing things that they've wanted to do, to spend more time with family, those things, and we must understand, as good as that is for a lot of people, perhaps for most people watching this or whatever, um, the statistics are showing that there's a lot more abuse that is happening now because people are not allowed to leave their homes. Or at least are recommended not to leave their homes. We'll say it that way. So, there are some downsides. There's going to be some mental issues that come with this, whether that turns into depression, whether that turns into other kinds of challenges. Um, those are going to be real issues. So even as we're trying to flatten the curve and overcome coronavirus, the long term effects of this are simply unknown. But as people are turning more to prayer and as people are reading the Bible more, and again, there's some statistical proof of both of those right now. I know there's a lot of Christians that might have a an arrogant attitude about this. Well, see, it's about time. Well, see, if you'd just listened to me earlier, whatever. And um, you know, I get it. Because there's a lot of times, a lot of energy that is spent in trying to help people to realize what's right. But there's a lot of people that try to help me realize what's right on things that I'm not ready for either. Um, and so I say this as a challenge for those of you who are followers of Christ to realize what Christ taught. A couple of times, probably the most famous would be the thief on the cross, that you know actually did not say much to Jesus. At least not much is recorded, but he did stand up for Jesus when the other criminal was uh, making fun of Jesus and kind of being accusatory towards Jesus. But Jesus responded favorably towards the thief on the cross by saying, "Today you will be with me in paradise." The another area we can look at is in Matthew chapter 20. There's a parable that Jesus talks about laborers in a vineyard, and uh, the owner of the vineyard comes, and at the beginning of the day, he hires somebody and says, "I'll pay you a day's wages." And at the middle of the day, comes back and looks for more laborers, and this would have been very customary for the day, and asked, "Would you like to pay? And here's your rate, or would you like to work? And here's your rate of pay." And so the guy did, and then the owner went back one more time and said, um, "I need more help. Would you like to work?" And it was only going to be for the last part of the day, and paid the same wage. And the people who worked at the beginning of the day and all day were kind of upset. Well, you paid the person who barely worked this day the same amount. And the response uh, to those workers who had worked longer is, did you agree to work for the same amount of pay? Am I paying you what you agreed to work for? And of course, the answer was yes. And as the person in charge, um, he was able to give the resources what was going to be available accordingly. And so he decided to give the same amount to all three people. Now, you and I might look at that and say, well, that's not fair, but it's not our resources to give. And so, one of the realities is that there are a lot of people who have gone through a lot of hardships in life, and you may be one of them. And there are other people who have not gone through things that are quite as challenging. But all storms are storms. And It doesn't take but just a little bit of rain to create a flood if the water's saturated. And right now, the water is saturated, so to speak, as we think around us. Not the physical ground, but this isn't a spiritual issue. This isn't a health issue. This isn't a economic issue. This isn't any of the. This is all of those together, and so it won't take much more to put anybody over the edge in some ways. And so the reason I share this is if Jesus has spared you from some of that over the course of your life or over the course of these last few weeks, be thankful. But be thankful for the wages, so to speak, that he has given you and offered to you, that you have not had to endure some of the things that the others. And so if there's a lifeline that people are looking for right now, let's be thankful. Let's be welcoming, not looking down on people. Well, see, I know that if you would have just done this earlier, life would be better. Well, we don't know that. It would be different. Certainly, any choices that I have made in my past, my life would be different, good, bad, or otherwise. But so let's be welcoming. Let's be encouraged that more people are turning. Let's be encouraged that people are turning to prayer, that people are turning to read the Bible, that maybe these are going to lead to a lot more faith discussions in the future. And if indeed they do, we need to be ready for that. We might just be the person that they're coming to ask those questions. But if they know that we're just having an attitude that we are superior because we've had faith longer, or that we know more. I've done a series of posts in the past. It's not how much you know about God, because percentage-wise of what there is to know about God, none of us can even measure on the scale. The question is whether or not we know God. So if you do, be thankful you do. And if you don't, find somebody who does, and somebody who will love you because God loves you, and allow that person to talk to you and to guide you and to disciple you and to learn to follow Jesus, because we all need to follow him better. And sometimes the way those of us who have been following a little longer remember how to follow better is by helping to bring somebody along with us on that journey. So I hope this is encouraging to you today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.